Hey guys, Mr. Garage here, and we're going to be covering some details on the new Pro Series that I built the other day in my past video, and just kind of go through what to expect if you're going to buy one of these things. So let's check it out. Alright guys, so let's talk about the controller on this smoker. Now this is a lot different than the older series Pit Boss controllers that were timer based. This is a PID controller, and what PID stands for is Proportional Integral Derivative Controller. That's a whole lot of fancy words for just a controller that does a lot of math to get you a very precise and level temperature while it's running. So your old controller would fluctuate quite a bit. It would go really high temperature, it would go really low. It could be plus or minus 30, 40 degrees, temperature swings, depending on outside temperature, wind, you know, that kind of thing. But these PID controllers are smart. They keep temperature locked in exactly where you program it to. Now, I don't have a set temp yet. Mine's still warming up, so you won't be able to see how tight that is, but it really is extremely accurate on temperature. I was really impressed. But there's also some cons to that. If your temperature is so exact, you don't get that low temperature swing, which actually gives you a lot of smoke, and that changes your meat flavor profile. So does this one have the same flavor? Say if I cook say I cook a pork butt on this, will it have equal flavor to if I used an older timer controller and cooked them the exact same way at the same temperature? I highly doubt it, because the older timer controller is going to give you those big puffs of smoke, and that's probably going to change flavor. But is that a bad thing? I don't really know yet, so I'm going to be kind of researching that more. The other thing I've noticed with the PID controller is, because it's so smart and because it's actually calculating what its next move is going to be and what it needs to do to get the temperature stable and all that, is they are extremely slow to warm up. So much more so than the older timer-based controllers, where I could crank up and get that thing to heat up really quick. This one seems to heat up extremely slow. And I'll go through the time in just a little bit. Just before I cover the app, I'll actually show you the times it takes at the temperature I'm at here in Arizona, how long it took to get to, say, 225 or 250 at the meat or 300 at the meat. It just takes a really long time to warm up. That was a con that I noticed. Now, this controller is a derivative of the controllers found in the Lockhart that uses the same Smoke IT app or Smoke It app or whatever they call it. It uses a derivative of that controller. And this one only has one function I didn't really see on the other, is it has this recipe function. You can see it right here. Now, I looked in the book, I read what recipe is supposed to do and how you can set it up to go through these different temperature profiles at certain times and all this. I cannot see any use for that particular function. In fact, I have no clue why they would have spent time to build that in. Anybody that I know that cooks meats, I just can't figure it out why they spent the time on recipe. It really is the dumbest thing that I've seen. It's pointless for a smoker where I want to set it up, certain temp, cook all the way till it's done, and pull it off. So maybe somebody else will find a use, and please, if you have a use for recipe, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it, so maybe I'll learn something. Alright, so let's talk a little bit more about the display screen. So this thing has come up to temp. It's on 300, which is where I've set it. And if you'll notice while I'm talking, it stays right at 300. That's not like a trick that the controller is doing to say it's at 300. That's that PID controller I was talking about and how precise it is. You'll also notice my temperature at the meat is going to stay extremely precise as well. You're not going to get those big temperature fluctuations that you would with, say, an older timer controller. So that's really cool. Now, one thing to know and realize is this is just temperature at the probe at the fire pot, has nothing to do with the actual temperature at the meat, which is what you need to know about. I see people make this mistake a lot. They complain about their smoker saying, oh, I set it at 300 and it's not at 300, it's not cooking right. Just stop. It has nothing to do with that. This might as well be just, say, a number, like if I block those out, just 3. Number 3 setting. It's literally just a number or a value, because you need to know your smoker and do the math. And so what what I know right now is my temperature here in Arizona, when I have it set for 300, it's going to be around 250, 260 degrees at the meat where I have my probe right now, which is the MPC probe, first probe. So you guys got to know that, and then you'll be happy with your smoker. You don't have to get so hung up on temperatures. You just need to know temperature at the meat. That's all you need to know. Alright, so let's talk about this Smoke It or Smoke IT, however you pronounce it, app. It's confusing because they have a lowercase I. I don't know what that means. I know it's a trendy thing, but anyway, Smoke IT, that's what we're working on right now. So when you first log into app, sometimes it asks for a username and password or an email and a password, which takes forever to type in. That's annoying, but you can do a quick login with your Google or your Facebook. So it gives you those options. I already have my smoker plugged into this thing, so you can see it right there. I named it Vader because you can actually name your smoker on this. So in case you have 5 smokers, you can give them all individual names. I don't have that luxury. So I'll show you what it looks like to set up a new smoker. So let's hit the plus icon in the upper right-hand corner. All right, so it's going to say Discovering Device, and we'll give it just a little bit of time here. And then it's going to pop up this Select Model. So we're going to go ahead and press the model I have, which is a PB1150 PS2. And they also show the 850 there as well. So we're going to press that. And now I can actually select that I actually have an 1150. Now I can go in, it's going to discover the device, I can name it, and I can hit at the bottom, connect, and then it would connect up to the smoker. But since I've already done that, I'm going to back out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and press Vader on this app so we can go into my smoker so you can see what it looks like as my smoker is running. Okay, so at the very top portion of this app, they laid this out exactly like what the display kind of looks like, but the screen doesn't rotate, so you don't get a horizontal view, so it actually looks like the smoker screen. You get this jumbled up view, which is just ugly. It's a mess. It could be a lot better. So anyways, at the very top, you get fan, auger, you get igniter, and pellet will light up in red if any of those things are active, like auger just did. Okay, you have all your probe temperatures. Now, this is easy to set. If I want to set say an alarm for one of my probes at a certain temperature, say I'm doing pulled pork, or say I'm doing a brisket, and I want it to be done at 205. I'm going to press this MP2. I can enter a target temperature. Let's go ahead and hit 205, and I'll hit OK. Now, I don't have a probe hooked up to there, so it's going to give me an alarm anyways, but 205 would be the temperature. When it reached that, it's going to give me a ding. The problem is there's no sound settings in this app, which is absolutely absurd. So what you end up getting is the same ding or sound that you get with your email or your text messages or something like that. And that's not going to wake you up in the middle of the night if you're cooking in the middle of the night, which a lot of us smokers do because we set up at night, and in the morning or by lunchtime your meal's ready. So that's completely worthless. That's my biggest complaint on this app. Let's just say that is not having a sound setting on this or some type of actual true alarm that will go off. That's just dumb. So we're going to go down from the temperature. Now you have this whole recipe step and time thing. That's all part of the recipe, but you can't actually use the recipe icon on here. You have to do that through the control panel. At least it doesn't work on my Android phone. All right. Now just below that, you can kind of see jumbled into the blue lettering. You can see set and act. So what you're set for temperature-wise and actual. Why don't they display your set temperature and the temperature that the grill is at right now? Why they don't have that, I have absolutely no clue, because I don't know what my set temperature is just glancing at this app. Maybe it got changed, maybe it got bumped. I don't know. I'd like to see both those numbers there. Now, if I do want to set temperature or change temperature on this or my setting, I have to use this round circle at the bottom. So they tried to make it mimic a knob, which is just dumb. Why didn't they just have up and down arrows to select a temp? Or just like the meat probes, why don't you just be able to touch the temperature and hit the value you want? That would make sense, but instead they overcomplicated it and made this big giant round circle at the bottom to mimic a knob. Now I have to touch it, and honestly it works about half the time. And there we go. So I can roll it with my finger around the circle and get it to go up and down the temperature range. But the problem is when I pick a temp, say I want it at 350, all I can do is just let off, and then boom, that temperature's gone. I don't know if it actually took that setting. All I can do is hope, because it doesn't display what my set temperature is. And I find that just absurd as well. So Moving down a little bit further from the temperature, you have a power button, and you can turn the smoker off via the app, but you cannot turn it back on. So if you accidentally turn it off, you do need to go out to the smoker and press the power button. I get that. It's a safety thing. You don't want to butt dial your smoker and turn it on in the middle of the day. I totally understand that, why they did it. So that makes sense. The Fahrenheit Celsius, I don't give a crap about Celsius. I'm American, so I'm just going to run off Fahrenheit, but I can't select it on this app if I wanted to, so that doesn't work. And then again, recipe does not work. The actual button doesn't work. Maybe it does on another screen or another type of phone, but it does not work with my Samsung S10. All right, and that is actually it. As crazy as it sounds, IT or however you want to call it, that's it for it, Smoke IT. There's no other features to this app. It doesn't do anything else. Those are all the features. Now, without having an actual alarm, again, that's my biggest complaint, without actually having that alarm function that will keep dinging until I pick it up or it wakes me up, this cannot replace my standalone little temperature wireless setup. It doesn't replace that. I need that alarm. Otherwise, I have to rely off a ding for an email, which my mind has trained my body to ignore. I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night to answer an email. That's not going to happen. So I have to rely on that sound. That's just dumb. So Pit Boss, please fix your app. It's a jumbled mess. It just needs formatting. Add in the temperature for the what it's set to next to the actual. Make those smaller. And give us an alarm. Get rid of that knob thing at the bottom too, the round circle. That's, like I said, that's just dumb. So give us just say an up and down toggle, or let us be able to type in the temperature that we want to set it to. Anyways, that's the end of my rant, guys. I hope you like this little preview on what you're going to get into if you buy one of these, and kind of an explanation of the controller, which is very nice on the smoker, but the app, again, needs work. Hey guys, some final thoughts. So I held this video review for the last 24 hours because I want to make sure this is what I wanted to post, and mainly because of my rant on the app, because I really can't stand the app itself. And so my opinion on the app stands, but the best part is an app is just software that can be changed at any time. So the next revision of this app may be perfect. So I'll knock them on the app, but as far as the hardware goes, so far this thing is awesome. I'm going to be doing some more testing with temperature and so forth, and kind of take a look at how the temperature looks across the whole entire grate. But for right now, I'm really happy with my purchase. $5.99 was a killer deal at Lowe's. I'm happy with the smoker, so I'll leave it at that for right now, and I appreciate you guys watching. I will catch you later on.